Today we have some legends of film. We have director Uwe Boll, and we have producer Gary Otto. How are you guys doing?
Republican Anthony Rogers has no previous political experience. Rogers, a comedian, is well known for a podcast called The Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey man, this is Tommy Chong, and right now you're listening to The Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey all you cool cats and kittens, it's Carol Baskin, and you are listening to The Anthony Rogers Show.
Hey y'all, this is Kevin from Candlebox. You are listening to the funny man Anthony Rogers.
Hey, my name is Alex Sulkin, writer of Ted and Family Guy, and you're listening to The Anthony Rogers Show. Lucky you.
Do you want a luxurious beard like this? Then go to luxuriousbastardco.com. Get some beard oil, some beard balm. Step your game up, okay? Everybody's talking about it. Stop being a sloppy bastard. Start smelling better. Start looking better. Start feeling better. All oils and everything is made in-house in America. No Chinese shit. Get it now. Link in the description. Welcome back to the greatest show in the entire universe.
It's sunny in Germany, so yeah, that's all good. Soon I have to go to Canada to get my Canadian passport, basically. So I got that info yesterday evening, and so I have to fly next week to do the ceremony. Yeah,
got a busy life.
Yeah, for 3 years I waited to get approved to get the passport. And then it really happened very quickly. Right now, they send you an email, and then you're totally stranded in a way. You know, like you have to go right away. So you have 1 week time to, if you're not in Canada, 1 week time to get into Canada to do it. So I had to book today the flight and stuff like this. It's always good to have two passports. You know, if Putin flips out, I can. Fly out of Germany.
Yeah, I was wondering like why anybody'd want to live in Canada. You know, I think that's a good strategy. Though, it's like as a man from Missouri, I'm like people are trying to become Canadian. Like I just don't even, you know, it's a weird. I get why you would though. I get why he's like that's definitely Europe's crazy right now. That's insane. That's got to be like that's got to be terrifying with that Putin guy, man.
Yeah, we have Ukrainian refugees here 2 kilometers away from my house in the school gym.
That's crazy.
Hundred thousands, and as longer the war will go, as more will come, right? So it's definitely not getting better. And Putin cut today the gas off to Poland and Bulgaria. So they will run out of energy, and then let's see how they replace it with what is the question. Yeah. I mean, it's in a way, the war is a little like the end of globalization, you know? So
hopefully there's no globalization. And that's just no, the whole thing is crazy. I think Putin, like, I hear Putin's like terminally ill or something. And like, he's just like pushing all these desperate kind of like things right now, like last minute. And this video is kind of funny because it's like two Uwe Boll fanboys like talking to Uwe Boll right now. It's just like that's what it looks like. It looks like me and Gary are just like all right, what does Uwe Boll think about stuff? Like it's like it's just kind of funny, man. Like to me, I like to see.
Uwe, look at the poster I've got behind me. Look at that.
South on Wall Street.
Yes.
That's probably my favorite Boll film. That's probably my favorite film you've ever made, in my opinion, man. That's like the perfect film.
He was telling me it's his favorite. We were talking about this right before you got here.
Yeah.
No, I mean, South on Wall Street is definitely my most conventional told story where where the emotions work, right? So where you really get into the emotions about it, and I think that totally.
And are we still open to a sequel, possibly? What do you think?
Yeah, but look, that is the typical thing where a streamer should step in and just shelf out a few $1,000,000, and we do the next part of the South on Wall Street because
you never know.
He got off, right? He got off and walked away for free, and there could be a sequel, right? And but it's this kind of like you know, the crazy thing with Netflix is really how they wrote it last week when the stock price dropped from Netflix, that they're making more and more like boring stuff. The edge is going away.
I agree. No, it's bad right now. It's really bad. I've been watching YouTube, man. Like they really like streaming just sucks right now. I think it's going back to cable soon. If cable gets affordable and they have a streaming thing, I think it's going back to cable. Like within like 5 years. Like if like a big cable company goes like $50 a month, everyone will buy it. I think
Yeah, I mean it's
If cable went down that cheap, I'd get it, but I don't
everyone
know.
would. Everyone would. I think it was like we all have like 8 apps right now, so it's like we're spending like 80 to $120 on this stuff like a month and stuff like.
yeah, and I mean, it's also this kind of like uh, everything first came in. The streamers were so cheap. You remember, like Netflix was $7.99,
It was a
and
deal.
everybody jumped on it. And then it came to the cable cutters and HBO and whatever they all said way too expensive, direct TV. So they lost millions and millions of subscribers. And then boom, now all the streamers getting like prices getting up and up and up, and Netflix will soon start with advertising also, that you have to watch the advertising, and I hate that, So
Everyone
and then
does.
you pay extra if you don't want to watch the advertising.
Yeah, that's insane. Like everything that we hated about cable, they're like, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do the exact same thing. Everybody, it's like that was the problem with cable, and like it was like $160 a month and stuff in America, and it was like insane. Like you had to pay so much. You had to pay so much money for like I don't know if you wanted any kind of good channels, like if you wanted sports or if you wanted like movies or like what I mean, anything like that. But I think the film industry's changing. Like, you guys are working on Postal too, also.
Eh, I mean, we have ideas and wrote things down, but we
Well,
have.
we wanna put it into all the ideas into. Wait a sec. The fuck. But
California Fried
you see
Movie.
that?
Exactly. So you remember the Kentucky Fried Movie, and I made the German Fried Movie, and
That was your first movie, right?
yeah. And the problem with Postal is that the video game company also was not really, in a way, excited to do a second part. I think the movie helped the video game a lot to get more known. And so, but I don't want to do anything against the will of a video game company, right? So if they don't want it, they just released a new Postal game. Then we have to just do the same movie, but with a different title, basically.
Yeah, we wanted to do Postal 2 under Postal 2, but Running with Scissors was giving us issues. We were even willing to pay to shoot a trailer before we did any movie to try and get greater funding, and they were not very cooperative, so we were moving on.
Why work with anybody that doesn't have your back? No, I get that. That makes sense. I mean, and to each their own. I mean, whatever decision they have to make. But yeah, I wouldn't work with anybody that doesn't. And I think like Postal had the best intro to Uwe Boll film. I think that was my favorite intro out of any movie you've done. I think was like Postal. It was really fucked up and funny, and I just I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, but that is the thing. I think also Postal has a cult following. Look on YouTube how many millions of people watch scenes from Postal or individual scenes and the opening scene, millions and millions. And it's also a thing where a streamer should say there's a built-in audience, why we're not doing a Postal TV show or something, right? So that is my biggest problem right now, is this kind of like the streamers also moving basically into a boring situation, into this kind of like, now they do ABC and NBC shows with producers from with producers from the networks, and now they're doing all the shows on the streamers too, and so the idea of the streamers are a little more home for the outlaws, for the the edgy filmmakers, whatever. It's already in the garbage. And now it's like the shows on Netflix, they look the same like the shows on Showtime or the shows on NBC or whatever, like cable or networks, and they're getting also more and more PG. It's all moving downhill. I hope, for example, that Netflix will build their own horror section, like genre section, midnight movie section, like stuff like this. I think would have a great audience, but instead they're doing Inventing Anna or Bridgerton or stuff, where like male viewers think like, what the fuck? I don't want to watch it.
Well, yeah, no.
Exactly. That's what kept me away from fucking Netflix for so long, even though I just bought the bullet. How long have you had it, Anthony?
I've had it for years, but I can't tell you the last time I watched it. Like, I have every app, but I watch YouTube. You know, I have like Apple TV. I have all these things I just want, but I end up just watching the free ones still. I think there's better entertainment. And like some of the vloggers are really entertaining. Like I watch a lot of travel vlogs, like people just traveling around the like Asia and a bunch of stuff. And I watch like a bunch of like, I don't know, educational stuff. Really, I just like I would learn more than I don't know. My fantasy's in my head already. I don't need to watch fiction almost.
No, but it's true. It's like you basically find on YouTube unbelievable amounts of documentaries, stuff about the world. Like it's like anything basically you find on YouTube, and it really replaced, especially for the kids. Like when I see like my kid, like they barely watching streamers. They're barely looking for films. They're just watching videos on YouTube, and then on YouTube a lot of videos are from TikTok or whatever, right? So but they're all ending up on YouTube, and they watching this and people getting famous. There was a good article today, I think Gary sent it to you, like the end of the celebrity stars. Like, so with the guys wrote like that was the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial and the Will Smith slap at the Oscars. It's basically the big celebrities are all dead. It's not
Hollywood's dead. Hollywood's dead.
Yeah,
There's still huge celebrities, but like they changed. So Hollywood's not cool anymore. Like it's stop being. You knew it stopped being cool like 20 years ago. Probably you were like shit talking forever ago. But everyone found out it's not cool anymore.
No, it's true. Yeah, it's like the fascination is gone. This kind of like mystery around film stars is gone. All the film stars now do TV. They do TV series. They do stupid venture capital stuff. They're all business people at the same time. I mean, how much info we know about John Wayne or Gary Cooper or whatever? Nothing. They just were actors and were superstars at the time where they worked, and they had a mystery to it. They were not tons of times in BuzzFeed or in the tabloids and in the, who's dating. I don't think there was ever an article who John Wayne dated or was at the, or whatever, like married or something. It's just they kept their private lives for themselves, and that made them giants on screen. But now everybody's dragged outside, and whatever, Batman, Ben Affleck was a huge alcoholic the whole time, and then totally depressed, and now it's with J-Lo. You read more about the private lives of all that stars as you read about their other life, like the film life, like what good films Ben Affleck did recently, or whatever the last 20 years after Good Will Hunting, I mean, it's really like,
I agree. Less is more. Like the more we know, the more we see behind the curtain, the less Hollywood, the less classic Hollywood it's going to be. I mean, like Tom Cruise, for example, we don't know a fucking thing about what he's like except for his PR, because he's the last one that keeps up the facade. But he's right. We see the real Ben Affleck. We see all of their ins and outs.
Yeah, Elon Musk is the best at it right now. Like, I think Elon Musk is the best at American fame right now. Like he has the best publicity. He has the best, but he's a billionaire. You can afford it. So I mean, I'm always leery of guys like that can afford good press. I'm just like, I'm like, what are they? I don't know. What are they hiding? I don't know. But like, I feel like Elon Musk. I mean, if he made a movie right now, it'd be fucking huge. If someone got Elon Musk, like if he played James Bond or some shit, it would fucking kill. Like
he doesn't have to play him. He seems to be him. I mean,
right? That's the facade. Yes, that's the facade. Yeah.
I don't think he's a good actor, but he's
probably not.
But I watched that Netflix docu about him, about the Star program, the Star Wars, like the stuff in space, and you really see that he's really driven, that he's really in the details, that he has all his emotions in. Like I think Tesla was just a moneymaker, but the space program is what he always wanted to do. And I totally agree with him that I think he really is not about the money, because his career was almost bankrupt back and forth and back and forth. And he always gambled with everything. He was not this kind of guy who makes his first billion and buys a big yacht for $100 million. He put it all in the space program and really went bankrupt basically. And in the last second it worked. And then they did the deal with the NASA. And now nobody has more like satellites around Earth as him. And he's really somebody who moves the Earth forward, you know. And I think also like this, in a way, similar crazy as Steve Jobs was, you know, like where they are real inventors and they go for it. And yes, a lot of times what he tweeted was almost like insane, but I think that comes with the genius, you know, that he goes, that he's emotionally not like totally normal, but I have to say I admire him too. And I think that he has balls, you know. He was saying like, Putin fight me. You know, he's putting up strange thing, or he built the internet up in the Ukraine when they were shut down by the Russians. And then he put the internet up with the satellites. And so they had all wireless for free. And I think that is great stuff. I mean, where's Jeff Bezos on the Ukraine war? You never heard about him, what he said. Or Bill Gates, you know, like there's dead silence from all of them. And they have all their technical facilities to move things forward, you know, to move the needle in a way.
No,
So-
I agree. I agree with a lot of that. That's it's crazy. I mean, Bezos is trying to go to space for himself and stuff. I mean, basically, like took like 2 years of like business was banned in America for like 2 years, and only thing you could buy is Amazon. So he took like all these communities' money, and then he just goes to space with it. You know, he's just a very selfish person. You can just like see it very upfront. I hope Elon Musk is as cool as he pretends to be on TV. You know, I hope he's everything that we think he is. I'm leery about guys like that putting satellites in space, like running all this shit. I mean, if he gets everybody in a Tesla, he can just turn it off on him and stuff. I'm leery about the amount of control this guy's going for. But outside of that, it's like, I mean, if he really is as good as we think he is, it's awesome, you know. And he is pushing things forward. I mean, his space program, his self-driving cars, he is pushing things forward. I mean, blatantly.
You know why I don't trust him? And it sounds completely ridiculous, but look at who he had sex with. That fucking chick. What's her name? Grimes?
The DJ? Yeah, he did it. DJ or something for one.
Oh, she's so fucking ugly, dude. She's so ugly.
No, but
It's like, what kind of judgment?
But you know, her mother is a big judge in Canada, right? So she's in court, like one of the highest judges in Canada. She comes from an extremely well-known family, totally sophisticated, and then she, as the daughter, comes across like this. But I don't think she is actually so crazy as she looks like. You know, she's definitely not like Amber Heard, yeah, who is.
I hope for his fucking
like
sake,
a total
she's not.
piece of shit, you know. So but she's of course in a way spaced away what Elon Musk in a way also has to be. But think about the Russia situation, right? When you think about it, but if you would have people like Elon Musk or whatever, like all that geniuses from Silicon Valley, would really get a job and work on it. I mean, our biggest goal should be to put Putin, like if Putin is gone, Russia will go into chaos and maybe a new government comes and everything smoothes out, right? So, and if we could, for example, shut Putin completely down, you know, internet, electricity, that he cannot even shoot a record anywhere anymore, like a record, then we could actually win the war. I mean, let's face it, right? So, I mean, it doesn't look like we can have really peace with Putin. I think the guy lost his shit and is like doing totally unlogical things against his own interest and against the people of Russia. Because with the sanctions alone, he sends his country back into the medieval times. Then he will have like an endless war in the Ukraine. It brings him nuts. The whole action was total bullshit. And he knows it now, right? But I think he's crazy and maybe doubles down. You know, then he switches all the gas off, then he will threaten everybody with the Third World War. And you never know if he can actually do it or if somebody in the Kremlin would shoot him in the head. You know, I mean, you really need some people inside there who say, okay, Vladimir, it's enough. But will that people exist or not? I don't know. But if we could put that from the outside on them, that we are not scared of a nuclear war. If he cannot shoot the rockets, he's fucked. Because look at his army; they barely make it in Ukraine. Let's face it. In the land war, he would get like completely wiped out by the NATO. Think about everybody's in the NATO, from England, France, Germany. Now Finland and Sweden would join. Poland. There are like 25 countries in the NATO, and of course Germany or whatever are way stronger as Ukraine. And he will lose that war. But what is if he nukes us all? Then it's total bullshit. That is the risk. And if we could omit that risk in an overnight, whatever, NSA completely electro computer shutdown, that nothing works. Without computers, they cannot shoot one record anyway.
Yeah,
it doesn't work this way. It's not like you can whatever. I have to let my dog out. It's not like you can push a trigger and a nuclear bomb flies out. If we would be able to really cut them down to a total blackout, they would be fucked. But then we would have to destroy them, basically, right? Then you have to just bomb the shit out of the Kremlin, and he's dead. Wait one second.
Hey, sorry to break up the show for a second, but I want to tell you about these CBD Lion Delta gummies. They're Delta 8. They're awesome. So if you're on like probation or need a job or whatever, they are federally compliant and awesome. They actually work. Like a lot of those Delta ones don't really do much, but these are good. Also, they have these CBD gummies, and also these are vegan. So if you're vegan, and you're not one to eat gum, you usually can't eat normal gummies. So these are vegan as well, vegan friendly as well. And these are melatonin and CBD. Best sleep of my life. And I remember my dreams. Best sleep ever. Do it. And back to the show.
Well, maybe there's a way like James Bond where they could get a sniper or do one of those kind of Mission Impossible things that's a little less dramatic than bombing an entire nation.
It sounds all crazy, but the whole nervous situation comes only because, well, for me, nervous that I maybe have to go to Canada, that comes only
I hear you.
Based on the nuclear option. Not because we are scared here that the few tanks from Putin trying to invade Poland, what is then basically, it's our front state then for the NATO, all the war would be in Poland, but nobody's really scared about this. The people are really scared about that he has nuclear bombs, a lot of them.
Yeah, I think sure. Uwe lives very close. Uwe lives a 10-hour drive to the war. That's why he's extra. You know what I mean?
No, I bet. I'd get the fuck out of there, too. I totally understand. I'm in Missouri, man. I'm in the center of the United States. I stay away from major cities and shit. I'm like, I see nuclear war happen. I'm like, I'm looking up, like, fallout of, like, nuking St. Louis. I'm like, how fucking far do I have to get away? I'm looking at that shit, too. And I think China is the real threat. I think Putin's got balls when he has China backing him, the world's factory, half the world's population. If they get India and shit, I'm worried about that. But, but outside of, like, getting, like, China and India, I don't give a fuck about Russia. Russia's a fucking third world country. I don't give a fuck about it. Their 19-year-olds are pussies compared to our 19-year-olds, like our broke 19-year-olds would beat the fuck out of their broke 19-year-olds, But I am worried about the nuclear threat. Obviously, I think that's a huge concern. I think he's terminally ill, and I think Russia will turn on him. Though I think you're right on that. I think basically the country is going to implode from the inside, and that's our best bet. I think.
Yeah, and as worse the economy goes in Russia, as bigger is the chance that from the inside they tell him like, you're toast because you just destroyed us completely. There is a middle class. I was in Moscow before. I was in St. Petersburg years ago to film festivals, and there is a real middle class in their two big cities in Russia. They drive with big cars, they have the Apple stores, they have it all, and all of this is closed now. So now people having a problem, for example, to get an iPhone repaired or a new iPhone, whatever, all their products died off. And they are used to it. They're used to McDonald's, they're used to all the brands from Europe and America, Adidas, whatever. And that is all gone. And I think they will get more and more, let's say, pissed about it. That the Russian population says, Okay, we went to Ukraine. Okay, but now we're standing here in our homeland, and our nice shopping is over because the mall is closed. I mean, what Russian product somebody wants to buy in a mall in Russia? Nothing.
Yeah, vodka maybe. Arguably vodka. That's the only thing Russian I'd ever buy. Probably. So some guns maybe. They have like AKs and stuff. But yeah, but yeah, outside of that, it's like fuck Russia. Really. I mean, not to be rude, but it's like they're like Kansas to me or something. Like just a fucking bullshit state. I just think I'm not worried about Russia at all. I think he's crazy. I think he has too much press coverage. I think Joe Biden's a fucking retard. So I mean, like if we had a better president, if we had a president that could form sentences, maybe this wouldn't be happening. And I think that it's just the world's fucking stupid right now, man. And if you watch the press coverage, but I mean, if you look outside your window, it's beautiful out. It's fucking great summer day. Like media's just like fear, famine, death, war, blah. And then I look outside, I'm like, oh man, it's fucking nice out there.
Yeah. But that is the thing. It's like it's kind of a crazy world, where you feel like I don't get it. I really don't get it where we are right now. And
you know what? I'm just what Anthony said about Putin being ill. I'm reading this right now, and I just watched the video about how he was greeting the Belarusian ally of his in February, and his hand started to tremble and his body kind of started to shake.
I know, but you remember the videos from Hillary Clinton? Everybody thought she's dying, but she's still alive. So it's not like we cannot really hope that Putin dies right now. I mean, that is like
we have to have other plans. Yeah, no, but I do think he's ill. But yeah, no, we can't just plan for that. Yeah, just be like, oh, he'll just die.
But don't you think like the CIA or some of those fuckers are going to take him out? Behind the scenes. I mean, if it's a question of world safety, you think that they'd take him out?
He's really close to being East Virginia, like Russia's very close to being East Virginia. I think, if they keep fucking up, it's like, and I think I don't know. I think the world looks weak compared to like China and like Russia and stuff. But I mean, I think when people find out what's going on, like when people figure out, like most people don't know what the fuck's going on. Like I think this is Chinese aggression. Like personally, like why they're all communists? They're all together. They're in this little fucking team that's not NATO. They got Iran. They got fucking North Korea. They have some other Muslim countries we pissed off from all those stupid fucking Bush era wars, and we got like fucking.
Well, that's my biggest fear too, is that China comes in to Russia. That's the move. That's the only chance they got. Why would he be flexing so hard? Why would North Korea be shooting missiles and be like, oh, look, I have missiles, and Russia's like, I'm taking Ukraine. I think China's going for Taiwan and like the rest of the fucking world. I think that's what terrifies me. I'm not worried about Russia. I think if China, decided to mobilize, it would be a serious threat. I think right now they're kind of like sitting on the sidelines watching us kind of bicker and fight, and they're gonna see what happens in the end. They're smart. They're a true adversary, and we should take it seriously. I agree with that.
Yeah, but I think China is very money driven, and they would not do something where they're getting like sanctioned and then losing money. Right? They're very money driven, even if they say they're communist, but in reality, they're the biggest capitalists. I say
they're capitalists as well as communists. I'd say, yeah, no, they're both somehow. It's weird. It's like a weird hybrid.
Yeah.
Well, that capitalism is what's keeping them from fucking taking over our country, because they could if they wanted to.
No, that's what I'm saying. They can take over the fucking world right now, probably. They got trains through Europe. They got half the world's population. They got all the factories. They could just. I mean, we're not getting parts right now. They're not selling us certain computer chips and stuff like in vehicles. There's a huge weight on new trucks and stuff right now. And like, I mean, they're fucking with us mildly right now. But I'm saying like these guys have all the factories in the world. I mean, what the fuck? America exports like entertainment. I think that's the only export we have left. And, I mean, and it's just like it's insane. And I mean, Germany's the second largest economy. I mean, you guys are in the game, I'd say more than most people know. I'd say because like you're the second largest economy in the fucking world, I think right now, like Germany is, and China's
but Germany has the same problem like America. Like if let's say there would be a full boycott from China against all of us, then one chip is missing and they cannot fucking manufacture anything anymore. Like stuff like this. Yeah. And that is what I meant was the globalization. And I think there was basically Trump was actually dead on this. He said we need to manufacture in America. And that is the thing. And it's the same in Germany. If you cannot build a car because 3 parts have to come from China, and then China has like a lockdown, Corona lockdown, and Shanghai, not one boat leaves China then the whole car industry stands still. And I think that companies now getting it, that you have to stop this, that you have to manufacture everything in your own home country.
Definitely.
So that you're not depending on it. Even if then your product gets 10% more expensive, who gives a shit? In the very end, that the 10 times better thing. And another example was the German weapon industry, right? Germany all the years didn't put properly money in their own weapons, but they're one of the biggest weapon makers in the world. So they have all
Definitely.
they all get manufactured in Germany, and France buys them, Holland, Sweden, Finland. They all have German weapons, but we don't have German weapons as Germany, because NATO sold everything out to everybody. And then comes a threat from Putin, and then the new chancellor in Germany says, "Oh, okay, we put 100 billion in weapons now," and yeah, I know, but if they start building now the weapons, it's way too late. I mean, the whole point of army or tanks is that you have them standing by, and not like when actually the war started, okay, let's build some tanks, and yeah, but that is so absurd.
I agree.
Yeah, it's so idiotic, and everybody was always like, we don't need it. There will be never a land war with tanks again in Europe, and now you have it.
Yeah, I know. I think it's nuts, man. I definitely at high risk, and this might be the first World War Germany wins if you guys work with us. It might be
exactly.
But no, I respect German culture, man. I think you guys you guys are fucking crazy workers and like crazy. I mean, you guys done a lot of stuff. I mean, you guys had VW, the Autobahn, all that stuff. Like, I think we had Ford, you had VW. I think basically, I mean, so it's gonna have to go back to the roots of that. Like in every industry, I think. Because I mean, and also like all these things are made by slaves in China too. So like everything around is just made by slaves. I mean, that's why it's so low energy and bullshit. And I think that like we gotta get away from that too. I mean, we gotta get away from like slave labor, concentration camps in China. Like the fucking, they're just a monster, man. And they have no respect for human life. They have no respect for like anything really, and it's got other than money probably. You're right. And they're godless. They're fucking. I mean, they're just like they're insane.
Well, the only thing that is stopping them from any sort of action against us or to offend us is the fact that they have trade with us to the point that it makes it worth it. Like the money aspect is what keeps us safe.
I hope so. And I hope that matters to them for sure. And I mean,
go back to what Uwe said earlier about and what you guys were saying about the making parts in America. Some of those natural resources that go into those chips are pretty rare, and some of them are only found in like China, and that's what it is.
Northern
and
Africa,
the cars,
China,
the cars are so technologically advanced.
But in Russia too, right? So you have a lot of minerals and shit like this in Russia, what they sell too. But of course, the biggest thing is oil and gas. Yeah, I know. But then you have to import it and pay it. You cannot.
Well, you can't find some of those chips. Some of those, it's like a little tiny grain of metal that goes
like
inside
lithium
the
and
chip.
shit. There's so many different things they put in there. You're right. And then a lot of that's Northern Africa. Like usually they have like children mine the resources in Northern Africa, and then they have slaves put them together in China, and then they have like retards sell them in America. I mean, it's basically what it's like this weird fucking operation of everybody getting fucked, man. And like as soon as we get away from that, all the economies will fix and fluctuate too. Like our inflation would go away if we had American made products. I mean, this is like almost on purpose. Like this is like how stupid America is almost like by design, because it doesn't even make any sense. Like outside of it, it's like no one. Like I'm like watching this. I'm like, is this like am I being pranked right now? Like, I feel like I'm watching the news and I feel like it's like this world prank like all the time. They're just like, oh yeah, this is happening. I'm like, I'm like, this is insane.
I mean, Anthony, have you tried to buy a graphics card in the past couple years for your computer?
No, but is it the same thing? I've heard about
oh my god, it's absolutely crazy. Like a graphics card that should retail for like $799.99 is going for $4,000.
Oh my god!
Because they're that rare. I know, it's fucking crazy. That's the effect of the rarity of some of those minerals. And I don't know. I wish that we could find some of that shit here, but they kind of have us by the balls because we're so reliant. That's why Xbox, PlayStation is rare.
Yeah. I think that's what the Afghan, like Middle Eastern war thing was. I think they put a pipeline through 3 countries, and then there's a bunch of resources in all those countries too. I think that's basically what I mean. And we just handed it to China, and it's fucking stupid. Like, but
because in the news we hear them talk about the gas and all that shit, but we don't hear them talk about the little tiny things like the little chips and processors and just about everything that we own, is affected by what is happening with the China. What is it? Trade tariff, fucking blah blah blah. I don't even know, but I know that it sucks.
Yeah. Well, before we talk for 9 more hours, you guys want to throw out some plugs and stuff, like for whatever people listen want to like check out what you guys are working on. I mean, obviously you're both Googleable, but is there anything you guys want to put out there?
Yeah, look, we have a good story about Elliot Ness, the FBI guy. Like it would be like the Untouchables 2, like he had the last case after he catch Al Capone, and we have a very good script what somebody in Hollywood wrote about his last case he had in Cleveland, where he tried to catch a serial killer, and we made an offer to Michael Shannon for the lead.
Michael Shannon, we're not waiting for Costner.
Yeah, and so we know that is the thing. So I'm basically trying now, because I recognized with just some good ideas, you're not getting any money raised, you're not getting anything done. So I develop things where we maybe get a cast, and you have a star or a name or whatever. And then Jake Gyllenhaal, we made an offer to, but he never gave us an answer. But I think to have stuff where you try to get some nice package together. So you have a brand. Untouchables was a big hit with Kevin Costner, the film years ago, almost made $500 million for Paramount. And, and that is stuff I want to move forward. My plan is really next year, and I hope then all the COVID restrictions on the film sets are over, to shoot something. The problem with independent films right now with Corona is that all the unions insisting in testing every day everybody, and if somebody has to go, if somebody has to go in quarantine. And I think they should drop this. Let's say you have COVID, but you don't feel anything, why you shouldn't work? I mean, we're living now in a time where Omicron, most of the people I know got Omicron, had Omicron, even if they're vaccinated or not, they all got it. And my wife had it, my kid had it. I was lucky, I didn't have it, but it doesn't matter. It's like for most of the people, it's 1 week of flu symptoms. So, and you cannot shut down a whole production or something. You go bankrupt on it.
I've been saying that for 2 years, Uwe. I've been watching everybody just shut down business, make it illegal. I'm like, oh my god, it's like, man, everybody's as dumb as George Carlin said they were, and it's terrifying. And it's terrifying.
Yeah, no, I think it's time to say yes. Nobody wants Corona, but over 60 was today in the news, right? Over 60% of the Americans had Corona. So, and you have over 70%, 75% were vaccinated twice or even 3 times, sometimes 4 times, but it didn't stop the virus getting out there and people got it, right? So they got it, and most of the people survived it. And we cannot treat now Corona different as other flus and other viruses going around. You cannot shut down the world because of it.
I know. No, I know. I can't believe people fell for this shit. I literally, I see people like trash bag hazmat suits in St. Louis, and I'm just like walking around like normal. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's just like, man, it's sad how dumb everybody was. I think they're scared stupid. I think they played on trauma. I think they played on multiple things that are unfair to the people that fell for it, I guess. But it was really fucking sad and weird, and like I felt like I was just being pranked like for like a long time.
Something interesting that you should think is, imagine how much money they must be making, the pharmaceutical companies,
billions,
based on all of the shit that's going on. Would they really want to cure COVID?
No, they don't want to cure anything. They just want money. They're all fucking demons, man. They're fucking. That's all they care about is fucking, like, they don't give a fuck who they fucking kill, who they step over, whose lives they ruin. They don't give a fuck, man. They hold cancer cures. They fucking like they you know what I mean? They fucking, they're insane. I'm not gonna go down that road.
Like if they had some kind of inoculation that wiped it out tomorrow completely, I bet you that we would never see it. Like,
yeah.
But think about not only about the vaccine, but think about the other things what made money. Let's say hand wash stuff or hand disinfection stuff. Masks.
Oh, yeah.
There were other diseases They made hundreds of billions during Corona. And so we shouldn't blame only the vaccine makers, because there's a whole industry with it, where stuff that never existed, they pocket the money left and right, right? So, and that is a drastic change. Think about also all the plastic garbage, what went out, all the masks on the ground, everything in the nature, in the inner cities. Nobody gave a shit. They lost the mask. Nobody picked it up. Everybody said, "Oh, that mask is full of COVID. I'm never picking it up." So the dirt and there was so much shit going on, where people, consultants, fast tests, like everybody who did the testing, they made tons of money. They made even more money with Corona tests as